What's up guys, it's Flash back with some more charts and another video. Today's Thursday, August 15, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Sorry guys, I haven't been posting recently. I'm actually getting married next week, so I've been pretty busy, with that really. And so apologies I haven't been able to get too much to the charts yet, but I have just some thoughts today. I'm kind of almost winging it on this video, but I want to just talk about Nvidia and the stock market and gold and CCJ and the rest of the uranium space, because I kind of just want to show you guys what I'm seeing. Drop me a comment about what you think, or give me a like if you think this is useful. But so far, Nvidia, right? Huge stock, always going up and to the right. Everyone's talking about it like it's just seems to be going up more and more each day. We have a big parallel channel here. This is on the weekly time frame. I'm gonna highlight another channel. Here's a yellow channel that I kind of found. And we have a big upward sloping channel into a tighter, even steeper upward sloping channel. And then there's even a third channel here. And so if we zoom in onto the 2-day, for example, like what we're doing with Nvidia right now is we're breaking to the upside of these massive channels. And like it looks like we can zoom in to the daily. Like we pretty much just kind of retested this big yellow channel, and now we're back above it. And who knows how high it's gonna go, right? Part of my thesis here is that gold is slowly but surely gonna start outperforming and turning the ship against mainly equities, the S&P 500. But I'm also doing a lot of research into how Nvidia is measuring against gold and how gold is performing against Nvidia in the semiconductor space. Like that's really been where the money has been recently in the last, we'll call it 5 years. And so I still think that ship is turning, right? So you have Nvidia pretty much doing Nvidia things, breaking out of channels. I'll pull up Nvidia versus GLD, which is pretty much, the gold ETF, if you will. And so we'll zoom back out onto the monthly. And I've kind of been playing around with some of these channels. It looks like if we zoom in on the weekly, like we are holding some sort of channel, Nvidia versus GLD. We'll call it Nvidia versus gold for the sake of this exercise. But man, Nvidia surely can take a break versus gold in the short term, like it did in 2019. Like it did in 2022, and it could be set to do that in 2025. Who knows, right? But what I'm saying is we're going to know when Nvidia breaks down versus gold, and vice versa. We're more or less going to know when, okay, maybe it's Nvidia's turning the ship in the short term and breaking out against gold. So right now it hasn't done that yet, right? And so that's why I'm leaning towards, hey, the capital is still in Nvidia, for example, again, for the sake of this exercise. And so it's just kind of interesting, we can also look at Nvidia versus CCJ. And if we zoom way out, similar kind of chart, into some sort of bullish megaphone or bearish megaphone, right? But we're on the weekly now. This hasn't showed signs of breaking down versus CCJ yet, and I think it could very well continue to run up into this little corner, by December 2024. But what I'm saying is we're going to know when CCJ breaks down or when Nvidia breaks down versus CCJ, and then I think it's time to really look at uranium equities closely, because if we go to URA right now, we'll go on the monthly. On the candle chart, like such a classic chart. I had another thing to show you guys about specifically to URA. Like, yes, we didn't hold that macro support that I thought we would, and that's a huge bummer, honestly. But in the grand scheme of things, we throw that 3-year moving average on. We're still above that. Looks like we came down and pierced through it a little bit. It was a scary test, if you will. We're still above the Ichimoku cloud. Like that is green and turning up to the upside. So I'm still bullish uranium. It's just really taking its time to play out. And I knew that going into it, right? This is a multi-year, 5-year situation. I think it's the next 5 or 10 years. But, we're seeing a pullback in URA, right? And I think CCJ is kind of that the indicator for the rest of the uranium space. Like it's great to look at URA, the basket of equities, but I think CCJ really is the king. And so it looks like we broke out of this channel. We might be coming down to retest some macro support. But again, I think this needs a break. It needs some time to do an ABC correction of some sort. Who knows? But back to URA, and this is what I was going to show you. I forgot. I'm going to put this on the line chart. We'll zoom out we'll go on the 2 weekly time frame for this. So I found a fractal years ago on this chart, from a Bitcoin fractal actually, that I've since hidden. But here's a Bitcoin fractal from, I forget when it was. This was the March 2020 low. But like this kind of really lines up nicely. We come up, try to make higher highs. We do in URA's case, we don't in Bitcoin's case. And then there's a sharp move down with Bitcoin. And that's obviously the 2020 low, the big event. And so I'm thinking like this could be a huge shakeout in the uranium space. And this fractal is more or less, a representation of the possibilities, right? But then, Bitcoin obviously went on to do Bitcoin things, and it reached this, for this fractal's exercise, it reached the top of the bowl, the top of the target. So I think URA just needs a little bit more time to digest that down move. We're still in it in the long term. Just needs a little bit more time, right? You have gold again turning the ship against S&P 500, but I think we're going to know when the NVIDIA run is either over or taking a break. I think for it to really be over, NVIDIA is going to have to break down, consolidate, and even come out of this channel, right? And that's just going to take forever, and we're going to know if that's happening. We'll play it live here. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I've been messing around a little bit with NVIDIA. Some other, I did a video on biotech stocks. I still think this market has a little bit of legs in terms of maybe a blow off top of some sort. But those are just my thoughts today, guys. A little bit of a journal for me today. Drop me a like if you found this helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.